See, difference is that let me introduce the company first. We started from India, from Mumbai, okay, 7 years back, and as an facade engineer, I have an experience on providing facade consultancy, engineering, design services over here in the Indian regions. So after we provide the services to the clients over here and the architects, trying to educate them on the facade design, what the right design of the facade is required in terms of your energy efficiency, in terms of your selecting the right materials, and probably better facade design can help the buildings to be more uh, energy efficient as well as the economical point of factors. So the difference what I can see that when we move to the international standards in international levels, where in India that international level standard are still on the facade is not that educated. So when you had an experience on international standard to that market, like we started in Bangkok, we started with Middle East, we found that the specifications which are drawn over there in terms of the right designing of the facade. As I said, correct designing of the facade means when there is a building, the building architect has some dream, so that aesthetical intent of the building should match. So the aesthetical intent of the building can only be matched when some knowledgeable facade designer, I won't say the facade consultant or facade engineering firm, but any good knowledge onto the facade design, they can implement those criteria. So when you talk about the facade, then facade is like how to maintain the quality as well as the performance level or structural integrity part into the building. So these are the three important factors we need to keep in mind. So international standard level is been drawn in such a way that they write the proper specifications. So they go each and every elements with engineering details. So that is the difference. They take it very seriously onto the each and every element of the facade. But here, yes, I won't say that that is not implementing. But thing is that we should be more careful when designing of the facade. But when you design a facade, that also relate to the cost implication. Those cost implication, the developers or maybe the owners should understand. So when we design a facade, then what happened? Those facade is required to be implemented at the site. It's not only directly that, okay, this consultant has drawn this facade, I need this budget. So when you have a budget, limited budget, that has to be highlighted to the consultant or to the engineer at the beginning stages, so that you can get into the value engineering ideas. So that does not sometimes happen over here. They straightway cut the budget, they straightway try to negotiate with the contractors, which probably may dilute the specification of the facade. So what concept is that the facade over here is only, we are giving importance to covering the envelope of the building, but diluting the specification for the cost cutting, whether that is really affecting the performance of the building, nobody cares. So that does not happen into international market. So each and every fragment, each and every element, each and every typology has been worked out properly in details. So that is a difference of international standard levels and our standard level. Still, I can say that there are a lot of things we have to learn over here. So being a facade consultant, we should be more educated, more knowledgeable, so that we can train someone else so that they can follow the same trends. Facade engineering course, as far as everyone knows, that there is some education, some institution over there like University of Bath. That is one where the facade engineering courses have been trained. So I think in India also in Chennai there is one course which has been given by Sen Govin. Probably I think they are doing that, but how much the people are taking it seriously, what level of education they are giving it, that I do not know, because I never been attended to that. But Of course, the facade engineering course is important, and that course should be driven by a knowledgeable person. So who should be technical, more technical. So not only the technical integrity, but technical, and also he should understand that what required to be trained to the people, so that they are more focused to the correct design. So it's all related to the proper designing of the facade. So that is so yes, I agree. We should have some facade institutions, or maybe if not facade institutions, some highly technical facade guys should take this initiative in terms of the conference or in terms of the seminars, or maybe normally maybe the facade people should gather to maybe on fortnightly or monthly basis in terms of a lighthouse party or something, which normally happen in overseas market. Sometimes some of the case study I can tell you is that, for example, a projects where how we take up the architectural concept. For example, architect is given their perspective view of a project with the elevation plan section. So those elevations are preliminary stages. So facade consultant is always helpful at the beginning, at the initial stages, not at the later stages. So initial stages, when architect is drawing their conceptual line of the buildings, facade consultant plays a major role over there. How is that? For example, you have a architect placed the building onto the northeast, west, southwest. So when we study onto the sun path analysis, any building we should start with the smart solution, as we call it, with the sun path. So in this sun path analysis, we can verify the amount of solar radiations coming through the building. So if some example, on the south side there is a tremendous amount of solar radiations through the sun. So how to protect that? Architect showing a glass over there. Okay. Sometimes maybe during the analysis we found that this facade on the south side is getting too much glare, too much heat inside. So how to protect that? So that's the question. Again, go back to the architectural table by the consultant. We discuss on the table. Okay, this is the critical path. How do you take care of it? So they go back to their planning stages. Okay, the city planning, and they found that okay, there is a next building coming up maybe within couple of months or couple of years that can give a shading to the other building, or if not, or maybe alternate way of finding the solution is that we can propose some kind of shading devices over there. If they don't agree, ultimately we have to follow the architectural intent, because they are the main people to verify the aesthetic intent of. So if not shading devices, how do you play onto the glass? Maybe we are thinking of going with the double silver glass. Maybe we need to have a triple silver glass. So the performance of the glass can be increased to cut the glares. There is the sun path analysis as well as the daylight and shadow analysis is very important. So once we have done that analysis, then we get into the thermal analysis. So thermal analysis is a combination of the framing and the glass. So that's give you the result of UCW value. So that thermal UCW value, when you get that, so we also calculated further into the solar heat gain and non-solar heat gain. So this total heat gain combination of solar and non-solar, which will give you a result in calculation to the OTTV, overall thermal transmission value. So this overall thermal transmission value, for example, every country has a specific data as per the government regulation or as per the codes. So instead in Colombo or maybe in Thailand, they have a 50 watt per meter square. So 50 watt, if you reach our data tables of 38 or 42, 43, it confirms that the architect orientation of the building which has been placed are perfect. So we need not have to go back again saying that your location or something is to be tweaking or maybe redesigning. So this is very important to confirm the first on the energy factors. So once that has been confirmed, then we get into the facade detailings. So that's how it is important to understand first the energy part of through certain smart solutions, and then we get into the facade. We should not, once we get a building, we should not directly get into the detailing of unitized or semi-unitized. That is a different there is a detailed part which can come at the later stage. First, we should make sure that that gets confirmation onto the energy factors. Facade consultant, as I suggested, like facade consultant should involve from the beginning stages, from the initial stages where before the construction, before the excavation, when the architect drawing up their conceptual line, there the consultant plays a very important role. And if consultant client understood that the consultant can be hired at that time, then there is a tremendous amount of saving, not less than 15% of the overall cost of the project. So that's give you a saving, and also we can make sure the performance and the aesthetical intent line is matching. In our team, in our company, we have a different divisions. We have 52 people all over across. We have the 6-7 offices, and there are different nationalities are working here, from European, from British, from Indians, Thai, Cambodians, all different. So we have a different stages where the department where people is to take care. Like we have a smart solutions where people they carry all this analysis. We have a separate in-house structural divisions. They take out their own analysis. So every stages we have a people who can support onto the design. So as I said before, we get into the facade detailing. These smart solutions are important. So these smart solutions are carried by certain teams. So once they confirm that, then we get into the structural things. Then we get into the facade details. So facade detailing is the end part of our process. So these various teams are providing some innovative ideas. Like sometimes architect shows in the concept, like a bullnose concept is for example, a screen, double screen. So instead we are designing a double screen facade. The first screen, the design intent of first screen, when you analyze both the screen, maybe we found that the shape of the design which has been shown over there may not be so well feasible in terms of the total combined part, in terms of visibility factors, in terms of the loading factors and all that. So sometimes we come up with different innovative ideas and we put it to the architects that this is probably you have shown a rectangular pieces. If you go with the aerofoil or some kind of different shapes, or if you reduce it from 400 to 300 millimeter, which will not affect the aesthetic line of that, but this will definitely create a lot of value added to the building in terms of the visibility factors, in terms of reducing the load. So those kind of innovative ideas, our architectural teams and the facade concept team, they bring it to the architect, and then that's how mutually it's a combined, it's a teamwork. Like we have to work hand to hand with the architect, so that as a team we both can resolve certain critical issues. The complexity of the Karama Education Center is that it is a two-way curve. Okay, it is in Qatar. So there is a company from Qatar. They invited us to do the detailed engineering for that, and the ACP part is the most of the part are ACP, which is a fire-rated ACP, which is insulated, double insulated ACP. So that is a architect requirement. So we are just following the architect requirement, but the performance level intent is we have to define. So that is why Qatar is a very hot climate. So to maintain the temperature of inside and outside is 50 during the summer, inside maybe 22, 24. So how to maintain the temperatures inside? So we should propose what kind of insulations are required, what kind of decking is required, what should be the distance between the decking and the cladding. So these are all part of the design. We do analysis. So these are also a thermal studies. Thermal studies can be assessed. But the complexity part of the facade there over is that we are following the architectural intent. 2012, there was a seminar organized by IQPC in Qatar. So I was one of the speakers over there. So there are various groups. Arup was there, and then some international architects like Nigel from Tangram, he was the chairpersons. So they have been discussed on the various design part of the, not only the World Cup stadium, but how in Qatar the facade design can help out more improvement onto the selecting of the materials, more improvements to the fixity or detailing part of that, so that everything concerned onto the energy efficiency. So that was the point where it has been discussed cordially between all the people, and different people have different views which has been shared, and it is covered by the Gulf, the Qatar magazine. Yeah. So submits that, like, as far as my experience, that I have been the speaker in the 3 or 4 4 countries. What I can feel is that probably we are just sharing our own ideas. Like if I have some ideas which probably I can share with the other person, like Arab also, because there was before my presentation. They shared some of the thermal studies, some of the complex part of their London projects, how probably the building can be built with a proper energy efficiency factors. So these are just sharing our ideas, and we try to find that probably maybe I have some deficiencies, I have some drawback I can learn from other people. So it is a sharing. ACP as a material, yes, it is a insulated part because of the LDP core inside and all. It is good. Like when you call it the metal cladding. So ACP, but ACP should be probably have to be a fire rated ACP, because non-fire rated ACP since last many years been used, but now the concept to use for ACP fire rated, because to protect more into the building in case of any other the fire or any other things. But overall ACP is a good product because it is a lightweight, fixation is easy, and but the designing should be proper, like we call it a range screen, or maybe we prefer to have a ACP or any kind of cladding without silicone group, because silicone is we don't prefer because of the staining part onto the ACP, which really need a maintenance. But when you put any kind of metal cladding, then the maintenance is important. So you should have a proper maintenance to the building in terms of the cleaning and all. Then only building look more aesthetically appealing. It is just a thinking, like open groove is the best system. As far as we are also here in India, we have done almost 241 projects so far in 7 years, and I do feel that ACP as the open groove is more better. Okay. Sometimes the architect has a concern to see the screws because of the open groove detailing. That can be avoided. We can eliminate the groove. You can have a inverted C putting onto the groove. Okay, so that give you a need, because the silicone application over here in India is, I didn't see as per my experience concerned on to the field and all. The people, what they do, when we have a worker, they apply for a silicone. One silicone cartridge of 300 ml goes 1.5 meter. When they finish 1.5 meter, they do not have another cartridge to put it immediately. So the silicone has a curing time. So when suppose that the curing time is overlapped, and then they come up and continue with another sealant. If you just zoom the details on where they are connecting to the another sealant, you will find a huge porous over there, because you have to cut that sealant, dip it the nozzle inside, press it more bit so that it overflow, and then you tool that and you continue. That's the actual process of the silicone to be. Then it's silicone also is good, but it should have a proper bonding. So if there is a porous in between that, when there is a air inside, water will get inside, and we never know that. And any metal cladding, definitely I suggested like to have a vapor barrier behind, because there should not be a salt, there should not be moisture which got inside, because when there is a moisture or salt, any other things that are going inside, so you are indirectly hitting onto the structures. So that structure is getting more threat because of all the other chemicals or the things that are going inside. So it always preferred for vapor barrier, which act as a primary barrier, and then you have ACP or metal cladding on the secondary barriers. So your performance is perfect in terms of water leakage, in terms of air, or in terms of the heat control, because aluminum foil and insulation will give you also the control. That cost a bit little, but what we do here is that this is the cost, so we eliminate, but for the longer run we are affecting something on the structures, so that should not be happen. But in international projects, in overseas projects, these are the prime consideration. You need to have those. If you as a consultant miss that, tomorrow the contractor will find it out, or maybe architect will, why don't you put the vapor barrier, what is the reasons? So these are the things which really need some education.